Hello and welcome back to episode 276 of Anywhere But Here. I am Tom.
And I'm Ant.
And you can find us on abhpod.com where if you scroll down through the list of episodes there, you'll eventually come to the supporter panel. And in that panel, there's an Amazon banner. If you click through that banner, go to amazon.co.uk and do your shopping as you know you should, and we tell you to do during this episode, we get 5% of your total basket spend. Doesn't change anything for you. You don't spend any more. The user experience is exactly the same. We just get 5% of Jeff Bezos's profit from your purchases.
There's trillions. Yeah, and if you'd rather not put money in the pocket of Jeff Bezos, or you've just been made redundant because of this fucking lockdown, and you don't have the money to spare, probably don't do this one either. But our preferred method of you supporting us is become a patron. Just $1 a month is what we ask. That's the only tier that's there. You can opt to donate more if you want. There is that option, but for your $1 a month you get stuff back as well, so it's not just you're not just giving it to us. So we will give you an exclusive after the podcast, which it only goes out on the Patreon feed. You get the main episode that we record but without this intro. You'll get early access to videos if and when we record them. You'll get immediate access to the spoiler cast if we've seen a film with cinemas opening up, or if we just decide to do a spoiler cast of a new film, because Disney and all those people are putting them straight onto their streaming services now as the premieres. We usually will record a spoiler cast, and that will go out later down the line, closer to the home release of it, the Blu-ray or the DVD, but we will put it out for our patrons as and when we record them. Yeah, maybe outtakes if we record them sometimes.
Perhaps. Yeah, you can also get in contact with us on all the major social channels. You know, Twitter at ABH Pod, Facebook.com/ABH Pod, or on YouTube.com/ABH Podcast.
Yeah, and you can email us as well, abhpod@gmail.com, if you just want to chat to us. You know.
Indeed. On this episode, we talk about the weather. It's been violently hot. I can't remember the word you used in the episode. Offensively hot, yes.
It has been offensively hot. We also we talk about the fact that I've got a new job, so we talk a little bit about that.
The exam results fiasco.
And we talk about the joys, or the woes, I should say, of owning a house.
But first, I got a text to say that you were out till quite late last night. What was that about?
Enjoy. Let's get straight into it.
Sure thing. I'm sure you can probably hear the pigeon in the background. It seems to be.
I did hear it, yeah.
Yeah. It follows me everywhere, that bloody thing. It's always there. You can probably hear it in a couple of bits on band biographies as well, if you really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just below the soundtrack bed.
Yeah, around the time I woke up, probably when we should have started recording, or possibly when I was eating my breakfast, there was like an army helicopter just flying really low across, like over a house, like really loud, and it landed in a field not too far away.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
Hold on, just a sec. Not quite finished with the... Not quite sure I'm going to do this. There we go. Yes.
You can take the audio this week.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
No. That's right. Liz is... Line of Duty? Liz is watching in there, so...
Excellent, good stuff.
Yeah. Would usually be going out on a walk on a Sunday with my sister, but... events have put the kibosh on that. Is that the right? Yeah, that's the right words. Yeah, that's the right words. Speaking well today.
They're certainly words.
They are words. Yeah, so I messaged you this morning.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel safe messaging you early hours of in the morning because I know you're one of those people that turn off their phone at night.
Yeah.
I don't. It's on silent all the time anyway.
I do, unless I need the alarm coming on, you know.
Yeah.
Then it's on. But,
so, yeah, I think this morning I sent that message at about 4 a.m.
Right, yeah. I did wonder, because obviously when you turn your phone on, it says the time that it comes through.
You receive it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just yesterday Liz was like complaining, like she had like quite a bit of pain,
Mm.
abdominal pain. So she sort of not wanting to bug 111 at the moment. That's our non-emergency service. So that's just phoning doctors basically. So she didn't want to sort of take up their time. So she just filled in, she filled in the symptom checker online, but the actual NHS one, not WebMD, because
fuck WebMD.
Because it's either okay or you're dying.
Yeah.
So she filled in the symptom checker, and I think probably because of the symptoms she put in and the fact it was abdominal pain, they sort of phoned her quite quickly and were like, right, yeah, cool, what's going on?
Right.
So she filled it in. So they wanted to send her up to Mason. They sent her to Mason Hospital just to get checked out of hours, doctor and all that. That was like 9 o'clock, 20 past 9 last night.
Okay.
She did some bits there and they were like, no, you need a scan. We'll send you to Pembury for a scan, which is, half hour, 35 minutes away from us? Easily,
yeah.
So because of that, like, I said to her, did you want to come home and I'll drive you up there? So she said she wanted to do that. Because it was night. She's never driven up to Pembury. And like, she's the one in pain. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we drove up to Pembury and I think, we were there till like 3 o'clock in the morning. So from like 20 past 9 to 3 o'clock in the morning, she was like being prod and poked, and Pembury weren't informed that she was coming up there for a scan.
Yeah.
So she had to see just the A&E department. So she had blood test, urine sample, didn't have a scan. They said, come back Monday for a scan. Because they weren't informed that she was coming for a scan. So it's... So we're none the wiser, but they're like, it's not... We don't think it's your appendix. And we also don't think it's like your ovaries or whatever. Like it's just... So they don't know what it is. So it's like, here's some cocodamol, go home and come back on Monday.
That sucks. It's annoying not to have some sort of answer, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously at the minute, I'm not allowed in the hospital with her either. So I, in the car, recline the seat all the way back.
Try and shut your eyes.
Stuck my earphones in and listen to some podcasts and tried to sleep, which I did actually. I think I got about an hour. And woke up with a really bad back.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable sleeping in a car.
No.
They're not designed for that.
No. I've done that on very early morning drives to press events before. I've needed to be like somewhere up in the Midlands by 9 o'clock in the morning and I've started off at 5 or something.
Yeah.
If I'm making good time, I'll find a service station.
And sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's never restful, that's for sure.
No, not at all. No, not in the slightest. Yeah, I think even Liz said, like, because of how A&E works, she even got like an hour's sleep as well.
Right.
While she was in there. But
fair enough. Man.
Such a weird time to be going up to hospital.
Yeah. Did it just come on yesterday, or had it been something that had
I think
built
so.
up?
It's hard to know with Liz because unless her leg's falling off, she's not going to say anything.
Right.
So it's hard to know. But she mentioned it yesterday, and and the fact that she said, "Oh, I've got an appointment at A&E, and I'm going," and I was like, "Okay."
Right. So
obviously something is wrong then, Obviously it's worse than she's letting on.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
Bless her cottons.
But like I say, she's laying on the sofa watching Line of Duty now. So
sure. I mean, do that all today until you have to go back to the hospital tomorrow.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. Yeah, annoyingly though, I'm working tomorrow. Like, I've had all this time off. I'm working tomorrow and she's going to hospital. So
typical.
So I said, like, try and get someone else to take you. No, that's all right. If you're watching the video, you saw that look.
And I can only imagine the look that you've been given, all the gesticulation that's happening.
Well, no, it's actually smiling. Took it well.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we had a leaky tap the last couple of days. Nowhere near as God,
no, but like. I know that we've lived with that for a while. Leaky shower head.
Yes. Well, it's the bathroom tap. So the bathroom went in 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I suppose we thought it was the trap.
Yeah.
The U-bendy, like
Yeah, maybe a bit blocked.
The scum tap, because the drips were coming off the joint just afterwards. So, like, well, it might be blocked up or something, and it's causing a bit of an overflow. And so, we tightened the connections up, and that seemed to do it for a little while. And then later on that evening, we were like, nah, it's still
going,
still dripping. So, we left it overnight, and then we're going to replace the trap itself yesterday morning. But I did the clever thing and actually looked properly underneath the basin, and the drips weren't coming from that. They were dripping down from the tap, the flexi connectors from the tap to the pipes. And so I was like, right, okay, this is not going to be anywhere near as straightforward as I thought, because plumbing never is. And the pedestal had been sealed to the floor and the basin, like it's that silicon seal stuff. So I was like, right, so we're now going to have to start chiseling that off and then take it so that I can get to it, But in the end, I was just like, look, and actually there's a little U-shaped clip that holds the tap on underneath the basin.
Yeah.
And that was corroded, like really rusty, which is weird because it's only been there 4 years.
Yeah, it's just like how long, how many of those 4 years has that been dripping?
Yeah. And are any of those nuts actually going to come off?
Yeah, I suppose.
I couldn't as well, like it, boring DIY chat. You can't get a regular wrench up there because there's like a big kind of step up where the back of the basin is, and then the wall is only like 3 inches away from the back of the basin, so you've only got that much room to wiggle a wrench around in.
Yeah.
And I don't have any box wrenches that go up, so
I brought a set of those to do the bathroom tap. They were useless.
Really?
Completely useless. Like absolutely useless. I had plumbing to do like a couple of months ago, and I just brought so many different versions.
I'll take all of the wrenches, please. Yeah. One of everything.
Because my one would have involved taking the bath out to get to do it, because I had to do bath tap. So like, it's sweating buckets.
Yeah. I'm glad that
if the dripping tap hadn't ruined the floor, my sweat would have done.
Oh, sod that. I mean, I dread something going wrong with the bath, because we won't know about it until it starts leaking down into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because again, they've sealed the side of the bath down to the floor as well, and up the walls.
Which is the right thing to do.
Absolutely, yeah. But it just makes
life
maintenance
difficult.
Really difficult, doesn't it? So anyway, I call my stepdad, and they're out for lunch with some friends, and also without knowing it, his mum's been in hospital for the last week.
Oh, bloody
and
hell.
They're waiting for a phone call for her to come out, which didn't end up happening yesterday.
No.
But,
so they could have come and helped me.
Well, no, they did in the end.
No.
And they got here at, I think, 5, and they didn't leave. Well, we didn't stop working on it until 9.
Oh my God, it's awful. It's just so shit.
Yeah. In the end, I had to buy a whole new tap.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because you can't get those little U-shaped clips anymore from anywhere other than specialist places that were all closed at 6 o'clock yesterday.
So you had to buy a whole new tap.
So I had to buy a whole new tap. But we've got a nice one of those waterfall taps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
lovely. Yeah. If you're going to replace it, get fancy.
Yeah, precisely. But it took way longer than it needed to. We bought them. We had a takeaway Chinese to say thank you.
But yeah, that's sort of what ended up happening with us with the bathroom. Like, I couldn't fix the tap, so I ended up just replacing the whole thing, and it was a pain, such a pain.
Yeah.
And then recently, because we've got a tap where you've got the stopper for the shower, so you divert the water. I don't know what they're called. That broke the other day, so I had to fix that. which involved buying a new tool because I don't have a toolbox as such.
Ownership's such a ball ache, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Makes for great podcasting content.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so interesting.
The other thing that happened is that, like, the plumbing in this house is so fucked. Like, it's a spaghetti junction up in the top floor and up into the loft. We were trying to trace the hot water back up to isolate it. Yeah, because we've got a tank in the loft. So we had to, seal that off. And there's an airing cupboard in the spare room which has a cylinder in it.
Yeah.
But we weren't sure where all the isolation valves were. Wow. So we were just turning everything. I went up into the loft. As I got to the top of the ladder slid away underneath me and I fell out of the loft.
Oh my God.
And I've got like a metal burn down my right shin.
Oh, from the ladder?
Where the rung... I mean, I should have snapped bones yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, was you caught in the ladder? Was you tangled in the ladder? Oh, Jesus. I thought you fell on top of it. Or
no.
Actually tangled in it. Oh, my God.
Somehow I managed to land basically feet first, and somehow the ladder had also gone basically parallel.
So it just fell. So it just dropped. You got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, it turns out that the isolation valve wasn't even up in the loft.
No, it should be on the pipes just before the. Oh, okay. So I would have thought you're not. Because when we had ours installed, all of ours installed, there's not isolations, but there's a valve, so you just turn
like a stop cock thing.
No, not even turning the water off, just isolating the water just to undo the taps. It should be on the pipe. It's usually a screwdriver or a handle. Yeah.
Because we were it was something to do with something. I turned the mains outside, and then the hot water. Like my stepdad's a plumber, so
okay, he's doing it the correct way.
No, he works with air conditioning units, and that's a lot of water as well. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, he's probably doing it the right way. Whereas I would just go, well, just turn that. 180. That'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I had isolated the taps, but it wasn't quite enough when you're replacing the whole tap. So, that was it.
That's how I did the bathroom tap.
The new flexi bits were longer than the ones that were originally there, so we had to cut off a bit of those pipes below the isolation unit,
right,
to move the isolation.
So he probably had to cut below the bit that you turned off.
Yes, yeah.
So he needed to turn off the. Okay, right.
Yeah, I was paying attention.
Yeah. Still wouldn't be able to do it myself.
No,
but yeah,
water is something I'm really not comfortable with doing myself. I don't know enough about how to do it.
I like I say, I will replace taps. I'm not going to cut any pipes or anything like that. We've got there used to be a radiator in the kitchen. We've got pipes there that I want to get rid of, and I know in theory how to do it. I don't want to do it because if I fuck it up, I damage a lot of stuff.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. And these things always end up. You think, that won't take too long, but they always end up taking about 5 times longer than you imagine they're going to, because it's just complex. Yeah,
and it usually involves oh shit, I don't have that tool. Right, screw fix.
Got to go back down. Yeah. Exactly.
Whereas when
ironically, I was looking these little horseshoe clips up. They're available on Amazon for £4.
But then you got to wait for them to turn up.
Yeah,
I tend to do that a lot now. Is I go to Amazon and look for stuff. Because everything is on Amazon.
Of course it is.
It's great,
and you can put it through the Amazon banner. You can't.
Yeah, use that link. I can't.
I certainly could.
Yeah.
Had I known about it, had I known it was going to be a headache.
Need 5% of that £4, Tom. We need
absolutely desperate for it. The other thing was I went down to Brighton the other day to pick up a new amp and cabinet.
Nice.
So I've got a Laney 410 and a 300 watt amp head that I'm not sure. I mean, my other one is 350. Basically, the guy chucked it in essentially for free with the cabinet. It was the cabinet I was going down there for, but he was like, well, I don't need this, so you can have it as well.
And you went, all right.
I can get rid of it myself if I don't want it. But yeah, right. I got down to Brighton within, I'm back within 2.5 hours, even, and also loading up and stuff. It's, the roads are ridiculous, even though it's 50 mile an hour most of the way.
Yeah.
But
so they still do it. I suppose,
yes, yeah, they are. and coming off the M20 back onto Bluebell Hill, a lorry changed lanes in front of me, went from the inside to the outside because things were filtering on. Get onto that slip road to the Bluebell Hill. From junction 6 to 7. Local chat. And as it did, it chucked something up and smashed my windscreen.
Oh my God.
Put a crack right across. I mean, it's a single-ish crack.
Yeah.
And it's only about 7 or 8 inches, but it does cut into where the windscreen wiper goes. And we've been having a lot of tropical storms lately.
Haven't we just?
Not had any hail, thankfully. But,
no.
Yeah, so Autoglass are coming out on Tuesday for that. So that was 70 quid for the amp, and then 75 quid for a new windscreen.
Excess.
Luckily, it's on the excess. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
So it's all...
So that amp cost you 145 quid and fuel. It did.
Yes, and fuel, and then 65 quid for a new tap yesterday, 40 quid for the meal, and a few more for the alcohol that we bought to say thank you. You know.
Oh my word!
It's it's been a hemorrhaging week for money.
Yeah,
which is not what I want when my wage is about to drop to 60% fairly soon.
Really? Okay, because we haven't discussed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Furlough, innit?
That's what furlough's doing. Oh, they dropping the furlough.
Yeah, I think it goes down to 60. I think I'm on 70% at the moment, but my work are topping it back up to 80.
Right.
And then September it goes down to 60 until the end of the
and are your work going to top that up at all?
I don't know. I would imagine they'll continue with extra 10%, so maybe it won't be so bad. But
that's a huge drop, though.
Yeah. It's going to get tight, and also I've heard that there's no particular plans to have me back as yet, unless something happens. Unless my boss needs to take some time off, I suppose. Then I would go back temporarily, but the plan is to have me on furlough until there is no furlough scheme anymore.
Wow.
So doesn't mean I'm off until November.
Yeah, well, no, that's great, yeah.
But it's the reduction of wages.
So they're not looking to bring you back into the office anytime soon. But when furlough ends, are they looking to bring you back on, or we don't know?
He didn't mention redundancy, but he also didn't not mention it.
Yeah. So are you looking for alternatives?
It's something that is going through my mind. Yeah,
but not actively at the minute.
Not right now, no. But I probably will do. The thing is, I know people have had letters to the post already, and they're starting to have meetings via Zoom about possible redundancy. So I have
mentioned that the other week.
Yeah, I haven't received one of those yet. So I'm definitely not in the first wave,
which is a positive.
And from what I've heard, because with my union hat on, one of the guys wants me to be there in the meetings with him because he is now a union member. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah. Funny how they all jump on board when stuff starts happening.
Yeah. And I'm taking my reps courses at the moment as well.
Oh, so you're being productive. That's good. That's always an alternative. I mean, one of my friends, if you remember when I worked at the factory, one of my friends went into the union heavily and became a rep.
Yeah.
And he says that there's something he's missing now, not doing that. I think he's still active in some form or other. Like he's still active in promoting unions and stuff like that, but he's NHS now. So it's obviously it's different unions and things like that. But he did all that and he absolutely loved it. So
yeah, I think I'm going to get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it's really important. I mean, unions have dropped off massively, but they're really important.
Yeah,
I believe they are anyway.
So do I.
Yeah.
And I've also found out that becoming a health and safety rep makes you virtually unsackable as well. So I'm taking that course too.
Good stuff. It's all good stuff to have under your belt anyway. Like,
yeah, precisely. I mean, it may well be that I'm stacking shelves come December, but who knows? It would just be one of those things. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, no news is good news, and I haven't received one of these things, so I'm definitely not in the first tranche. But it's out of my control. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day as well, like, I could be looking for new jobs, I could apply and I could get a new job, but at the moment I'm being paid to sit on my ass and do nothing
and do things that you're enjoying, like you said, like, right, God, back when was it, March, April time, you were saying how you're enjoying writing again. Because I'm doing it for me. You're doing it for fun. It is a project, and you do have that deadline, so to speak. You have that pressure. Thing is,
it's self-imposed. Like, I don't have to, but I feel like I do, because I've kind of put this law down, this rule down. Yeah,
and people were listening and that want to hear the next one. So it's going well as well, isn't it? So I mean, it's doing really well. So
it's doing all right. It's I've passed 1,000 downloads. So that's 250 people an episode, roughly.
Which is for a start off.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah,
and it's growing though, isn't it? Like,
yes, it is.
Every episode you're getting more downloads in the first week than the last episode got in the first week.
Yeah. I mean, it's all incremental, but it is in a kind of, it's an upward trajectory. So that's,
which is good. And
but equally,
I think it gets exponential. That's the thing, isn't it? Eventually,
because the Billy Idol episode didn't get as many downloads as the Sex Pistols one, but then the Sex Pistols one has been out 2 months longer than that. So like,
but it's about the initial first week or first month download. That's the thing.
And they are all gradually, But I think I'll also find, depending on the band, some people, it's not one that people might listen to every single episode. It might be that people only want to listen to the ones that they enjoy the music of.
That's the thing. You are definitely going to have that, and I think all podcasts will find that as well. So I mean, I do look at podcasts, and if I look at the subject of a podcast, I'm like, I'm not bothered about that. I won't listen to it. I do have those podcasts on Pocket Casts, but there are some that you will listen to every episode of, just because you enjoy the storytelling aspect of it. I enjoy documentaries, so I'm going to listen to every episode of a documentary podcast.
Because it's just you're finding out things that you didn't know before, and that's something.
It's just interesting, and plus I love music, so like listening to like band biographies, I will listen to the episode and then I'll find, like, for the next week after that, I will go through the back catalogue of that artist because I like the music.
What I'm finding is a lot of these bands, like, I mean, I'm writing about the Buzzcocks at the moment. There's actually, like, everything has been said about the early records, but no one really writes about the later ones. Like, I think their last album came out in 2014.
So still,
who knew?
Not me.
Precisely, so it's always trying to find the things that I don't know about that I find most interesting, because I think if you're just a casual listener to some of these, because actually Pete Shelley's voice grates on me when you hear it enough times. Like, Ever Fallen in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Have is a brilliant song. But his voice, it's very high-pitched and whiny. If you listen to the whole album and doing what you're doing, you're having to listen to a lot. To try and pick the perfect song for a story. Or whatever. And actually I prefer the production styles of later albums because they're just more polished as well, and, like, they've done stuff to it. Well, your technology, as annoying as it is, does help. Definitely. And it's knowledge as well. It's knowledge passed down and things like that. Because I think the one that I'm just writing about at the moment was recorded in 96, and it was done at the same studio that Green Day recorded Dookie, by the guy who recorded Dookie. Oh, okay, yeah. And so, like, because Green Day were a big fan of Buzzcocks, so Buzzcocks decided, well, we'll go there. And do that there. Yeah, it just sounds, I don't know, like so much better produced, I suppose, you know.
Yeah.
But it's all about, you know, technology's 20 years after they were originally recording those things.
Of course,
so
yeah. Well, I mean, it's gone from tape to digital, and as much as people enjoy analog, I think it's a cleaner sound digital, isn't it?
It's like people that really rave on about vinyl, isn't it? You know,
it does have a certain quality to it.
It does. No, absolutely, it does.
Yeah, you know, I can hear that. It's the uncompressed, like I can hear that. But obviously, that degrades over time. Like the more you listen to the vinyl, the worse it's going to sound. Like it's unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Yeah, I've not much has really changed for me with this lockdown. I've had quite a bit of time off because it's summer holidays and like family can't really look after Chloe, so I've had to take basically 4 weeks off.
Yeah.
But it's been weekdays, so I've still been going in every other weekend. And I go back properly tomorrow. Is Monday? Yeah, tomorrow. So Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, back to my shift pattern. But it's only for the next 4 weeks.
Right. Yes.
Because I'm changing jobs. I got a new job.
Very exciting.
Yeah. It's a pattern I seem to be taking now. Is like I get a new job, but I take a pay cut with it. But it is so. I've mentioned on here I'm studying.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So I'm started a degree in IT with business as a second subject. I've only actually done a business module so far. I'm nearly finished. I've got one assignment left. And that's finished. And then I'll start my first IT module in October.
Right.
But what I'm doing it is in IT. So it makes sense to get a job in IT while I'm studying IT.
Sure.
Like it's what I've always wanted to do. I studied IT in college, but never worked in IT. I never found a way to get into it. But this is like it's just an entry level support position. But it's specifically for software. Software that is built. So the company that I work for builds software packages and bespoke software packages as well. They have their packages that they can tailor, but then they build bespoke stuff. But the package that I'm working with is for healthcare providers. So it's about keeping patient records and things like that. So it kind of makes sense. I've come from a healthcare background. I'm studying IT. I'm going to IT, who supplies software for healthcare companies.
Healthcare adjacent.
Yeah, I'm healthcare adjacent now. Yeah. So yeah, it sort of makes sense. So initially I've taken a pay cut, but the pay goes up every 6 months for the first 18 months while I do training.
Okay.
So I start that on the 14th of September.
Fair play. Nice one.
It's good, yeah. And it's like I think I messaged you about it. It's like half an hour commute, which most people are like, oh, commuting. I'm like, yeah, podcasts. I get to listen to podcasts again.
Yeah.
So an hour a day in the car listening to podcasts. But the other advantage is it's, although I do love working in healthcare and I'm going to miss it massively, it is just the shifts. Like I can't, nights absolutely destroy me. For the whole time I'm on them. So I've got 1 day of weeks left and then 3 weeks of nights and I'm done. But yeah,
hopefully the last 3 weeks of nights ever.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know.
Yeah, I mean this place does shifts, but I think the latest shift finishes at 9 o'clock or something.
Okay, right. And is it mainly weekdays? It's not weekends, or?
Forgot to ask that, but it doesn't matter. Okay. I've been working weekends. It might be one of those ones where you're expected to work one Saturday in 4 or one Saturday in 2. I'm not entirely sure, but I get my rota 6 months in advance.
Yeah,
which is great. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm going to miss it, but it is just it's the 12.5-hour shifts, man.
Yeah, it's a killer.
But being healthcare, sometimes 12.5-hour shifts, you might not get a break as such.
Yeah,
but
and then
you do get the thing. It's not constant pressure all day. Like sometimes you will sit down and watch TV or sit down and check your email. So it's not taking a break in 12.5 hours sounds awful.
But some of it is just sitting around.
Yeah, the last weekend I worked, so 2 weekends ago, it would have been last weekend because I'm off this weekend. Last weekend, last Saturday, I did an escort to somebody. I took somebody to his parents' house.
Right.
To go and see his family. And I spent 3 hours sat in a kitchen talking to one of my colleagues.
Right.
I didn't get a break that shift.
No.
And, you know, and like the nurse said, like she said to us before we went, we're quite short staffed. So, we're gonna, you know, are you okay not taking a break? And we're like, yeah.
It's fine.
I'm going to be sat in a kitchen for 3 hours talking. Like,
yeah, it's
right.
It's not like hard work.
No, and although they're like, yeah, but you're still working. You're like, yes, you are still working. You still have to be aware of what's going on. You still have to check on your patient to make sure they're okay. And, you know, so you are working, but you're also just sat in a kitchen talking and playing on your phone. Like, it's not like constant work. Like this new job I'm going to, it's only 8-hour shifts, but I'm going to be on the phone dealing with people who might be pissed off that their software is not working, and you know. But it's the first step in what I'm hoping will be. One of the guys doing the assessment, like the interview process was mad. Like it's the longest I've ever done. So like initially, I got an email saying take these tests, you know, aptitude tests and stuff like that, and a personality test thing to see if you fit into our culture. So I did that. Then I had a phone interview where I had to redo the tests.
Okay.
And then I missed the mark by like 1 point. So they were like, but we liked you in your interview, so we're going to give you another chance to do the test.
Okay.
And like, I'll pass it with flying colours the next time.
Yeah.
Because I actually went, okay, right, let me just double check stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know what I'm doing. So then I passed that. And then the next one, it was like I think from 9 till 3, like a full day on Microsoft Teams of like role play and talking, like, and there was other candidates there talking. So you do a presentation, you have like an informal interview thing, and it was a long process.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. Like I quite liked the process, and it was different because normally they do the assessment day at a facility.
Yeah,
they can't do that, so we did it on Microsoft. So like sitting here doing this,
basically.
Mm-hmm. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
Because the one thing that I absolutely detest is the interview process. I cannot stand it. I hate interviews so badly.
So do I. But like the presentation, they were like, we really like your presentation. But I was like, I fumbled my way through it, man. I kept repeating myself. I didn't know. You know, and I was one of the ones who was prepared, and I had a PowerPoint just like with prompts and stuff like that. And
you were like, I'm going to screen share.
yeah. I mean, there was a couple of others that did it as well. And there was a couple that they went, did anyone do a PowerPoint or anything like that? And I was like, yeah, I did. And so, I was like, no, I didn't. I'm just going to talk.
It'll
be interesting. So then there was like a team, like a group task where they gave us a list of tasks. Now, here's your list of tasks. You've got 5 minutes to prepare, and then this list is going away. So I was like, someone's like, oh, let me just type this out. And I was like, I'm going to take a photo with my phone and have it there. And like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Technology.
Yeah, and then it was really interesting. So you've got 20 minutes to do this. And I think it was like you get points for each task you tick off. And then there was like these tasks, individual tasks, and there was group tasks. So in my head, I went, they want us to prioritize what we're going to do. So when we started preparing, I was like, right, fuck the group tasks because that's going to take a long time. I didn't say that. So it's like, let's just do the individual tasks. Who wants to do what? So everyone took their task. I said, and if we get to it, we'll do the group tasks afterwards. We'll just have a discussion. So we did that. And then I think about halfway through, he said, no, it was about sort of 6 or 7 minutes in. He was like, actually, we've changed our minds now. So you've actually only got another 5 minutes.
Right.
He said, and each task now has a points value, and they gave us the points values. So I was like, okay, well, we haven't done this one, and that's worth 50 points. So let's do that one.
Let's do that one.
But this is the thing. It's like, I didn't want to be overbearing, but I was like, this is how we're going to do this.
But that is showing leadership skills,
which is what they wanted.
Which is what they want. Yeah.
So when it came on to the feedback, he was like, yeah, and we really liked the way you took charge in the group task. I was like, yeah. I said that can rub people up the wrong way though.
It can, but like if they're looking specifically for those kinds of skills, that's what that kind of trait is what they're going to be, prioritizing. I know this because I went to a Big Brother audition once while I was at uni because we thought, it's a day out in London, isn't it?
I think you did tell me this actually.
Yeah.
So you actually went to audition for Big Brother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because, it was one of the years where they'd had.
I
think it was but it was like the year that they'd had all that trouble with what's her face who died.
Jade.
Yeah,
Jade
that's
Goody.
it. And I was like, well, maybe they'll be just looking for normal people.
No,
of course not. There were people there like dressed in like chicken suits and shit, and people, it was all that like, muscle blokes and things.
You mean wankers?
Yeah, wankers.
Yeah.
There were two blokes behind us in the queue who kept nipping to the toilet every 10 minutes and coming back very, very energetic.
Yeah.
And then one time they went away and never came back, and I assume they just kind of, I don't know, passed out or something, came down.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were basically, when you got in there, it was in the Excel Centre.
Yeah.
So this massive, great convention centre in the centre of in the Docklands of London.
I don't know why, but I really like that.
It's interesting to go to.
I really, really like it. I've been there quite a few times, and I wouldn't want to go there now.
No. But yeah, there were these massive queues and stuff, and then when you get to the end of the queue, they split you into groups of 10 or something, and then they do all these like kind of group exercises, and they literally chose everyone who was taking charge because they wanted alphas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But also, it's leadership, isn't it? At the end of the day, you want people who are strong-willed and able to take charge.
Yeah, because
they want to put 20 of those people in a house because they'll rubble each other all up the wrong way.
Yeah, and to be fair with Big Brother, although it is awful, it's an awful program.
Yeah,
they do have some interesting tasks, they're like actual, like from a psychological perspective. They do have psychologists designing some of these tasks. So you do need people that are going to come up with good solutions or interesting
and kind
solutions.
of rise to the challenge, basically. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like I say, it was a day out, and actually we met some people who, one of them became a housemate of ours.
Oh, really?
Eventually, yeah.
Awesome.
So that was, it was really weird.
But it was
really
something to do.
Yeah, it was just a day out, wasn't it? We had nothing else to do. It wasn't like I was doing a degree at the time.
No, fucking. But it's I'm doing a degree and now I'm sat here podcasting. So I mean,
yeah.
I've just got like a little bit of catching up to do. I'm about like a couple of days behind, but on my last assignment, which you can't defer. So it's fine. I kind of know what I'm gonna.
It'll be all right.
It's fine.
We always work better to deadlines anyway.
One of the individual tasks that I took up in this group activity, I took it up because it was a puzzle, and I love puzzles. Yeah, but it was one of these things. It's like you've got 3 cards, you've got an ace, a king, and a jack, or whatever, and you've got 3 suits: a heart, a diamond, and a spade. Like the spade is to the left of the jack, and it was one of those things, and you figure it out. So I sat and figured it out, and it was like cool. And then when we finished the task, then like they go, so okay, well, yep, you finished the task and you did really well on that. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask about why we did this or blah blah blah? And I was like, yeah, what's the answer to this puzzle? And he's like, well, we don't really know. Like it wasn't the answer. We weren't after the actual answers. If you got it right, we just wanted to. And I was like, but I need to know the answer. So when we went on a lunch break, I was like, right, 3-card problem. And I found it and I did get the right answer. And I'm like, I needed to know, man. Like, what are you doing?
You can't just leave me hanging like that.
So we don't really track the points or the answers because, it's just about how you work together. And I'm like, what are you doing?
There's an answer and I need to know it.
Yeah, like, what do you mean? There's no point to it. There is a point. I mean, one of the questions was about... it was literally like you've got £1,000 and you need to find a way to turn it into $1 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was literally the task.
Right.
And in my head, I was like, well, I would say invest it, but there's a chance you'll lose the money. I mean, there is always a chance you're going to lose the money. The guy, so when we were talking, this is what the guy who took that task said. And I came back with, but there's no guarantee, or he said he was going to bet or invest or something like that. I was like, yeah, but there's quite a lot of risk involved in that because of stuff I said. Maybe better off like researching a product and then buying a product and selling for a profit and then just keep reinvesting that money. And he goes, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then he started researching the product and trying to find a product. I'm thinking to myself, it's a waste of time. You don't need to do that. No. Like, they just want to get an idea of what to do. Yeah. They don't want a specific product.
Yeah. Well, you could start doing that stuff like buying a paperclip and swapping it for selling it for a thing. And
it was a bit like, okay. The guy sort of was going a bit too much into depth for my liking, but either way, it was a fun task anyway. But yeah,
fair play. I mean, I don't think I've ever been in an interview. I think I've been in one interview that I've ever enjoyed.
Yeah.
And that was essentially because it stopped being an interview and just became an informal conversation. I much prefer that.
Was that the one you did last year?
No. Well, to be fair, that wasn't really. It was a kind of interview, I suppose.
You did have an interview and a trial day, didn't you?
No, I didn't have a trial day.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else then, not last year, maybe. It's one where you worked for the Red Band, where you went and did some experience at Red Band newspaper.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did some work experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it wasn't a trial day, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like, I seem to enjoy that format because I did my recruitment day for prison officer as well. I really enjoyed that day. So that involved role playing, group tasks and stuff like that. And I came out of that feeling really good. So like, I think I just enjoy that format. I think because it's less formal. I think the pressure of being on your own, facing people.
One-on-one question and answers and coming up with scenarios and stuff. It's the worst.
Yeah, that's where I sort of don't feel like I do very well. But I always get good feedback, so it's just my sort of
excellent
self-conscious thing. So, but that's my first week is going to be like an intensive training week, just finding out about the software and stuff and how to run their system, and it'll be interesting. And by the sounds of it, there's plenty of opportunities for progression as well.
Cool.
And I think my degree is obviously going to help with that. So
I assume they're aware that you're taking the course.
Yeah, because it always comes back when you have an interview and you're doing a green. It's like, and will you require any time off for that? And like, no, as far as I know, there's no days or whatever. But it seems like seems like a good company. They give you a day off, like a paid day off every year to do voluntary work.
Oh, right. Okay. That's
really
interesting.
Nice. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So we'll see how it works. But new job again.
Starting again. But, it's like we've said before, it's always a progression. It's, going in the right direction despite the occasional pay cut, it's working towards something I want to do. And I've enjoyed my time working as a support worker. I've learned a hell of a lot about myself and about people in general. I'll miss the weird stories though. I'll miss the craziness. Maybe we can go into detail on some of the weirder ones once you've actually left.
I've told quite a few of them.
To be fair,
obviously trying to maintain some form of anonymity with regards to the patients.
No, absolutely.
I mean,
it's there's certainly been some interesting stories come out of it. It's all good. Just trying to think. How are things going with regards to Chloe going back to school, for example?
I don't think we've had much of an update. I think they're progressing with just with the assumption that they are going to return on the date they're supposed to return.
Which
obviously,
to me seems nuts.
Yeah, I think if anything changes, obviously they're going to, they'll stop. They won't do it, and they'll let us know. But so far, it appears the whole school's going back. Yeah, and we've had to pay out for the uniform just in case. And
just seems bizarre to me that up until recently they were talking about making sure everything's going to be socially distanced, and maybe we'll have shifts of kids going in and staggered start times and all this stuff.
I mean, that is so her school. Yeah, so they're making the assumption they're going back on the day, but the plan is there will be staggered starts.
Yeah.
They're staggering break times as well.
Yeah.
They're not all at break together. And I think, if I'm right in thinking, they will be staying in the same classroom.
And the teachers
are moving around. But I don't understand what they're doing about the class sizes.
No. No, that's a thing that seems to be changing school by school.
And the school's being sectioned off, so every year group stays in a certain part of the school, so they're not moving around. So they do get some freedom, but they're not moving around. But they are obviously they'll be mixing within the year group.
Yeah, and equally they've been mixing together outside of their year groups all summer long as well. So
they've been seeing each other outside of school. But,
It seems kind of crazy to me.
This is what I thought last night when we went up to A&E. It's like, you can't. No, you're not allowed to come in with her. And I'm just like, go and sit in a pub with loads of people I don't know.
Yeah, precisely.
But I understand, hospital full of vulnerable people, but still. But they're allowing... But my mum does shifts up at Pembury. She works up there sometimes, and they're open for visits. Like, people are allowed to visit.
Right.
Like, inpatients now.
Really?
But obviously Liz was a outpatient. I'm not allowed to go in with her. Right. But if she was an inpatient, I could visit. And
this is the thing; it's all still quite contradictory. And
don't go out, but go out.
Yeah. Don't go to the pub, but we need you to spend money, so go to the pub and the restaurants, and we'll give you a voucher so that you can get £10 off your meal.
Yeah, I met some people from work for lunch the other day with Liz as well. She was at work, so I met her for lunch, and then we went to the pub to have some lunch. It was the day we had torrential downpour. I think here it was different to where I don't know actually.
Yeah, it's all been really weird here.
Was it Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. It was Thursday. Right. We had a torrential downpour, but we were at the pub at the time, sat outside.
Excellent.
Under the covers, but still getting wet. Because it was fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, there was like stair rods, wasn't it? You know,
it was just ridiculous. So, but when I got to the pub, they had a sign outside that said social distancing 1 meter.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Got into the pub, stood at the bar. We're social distancing 2 meters.
Mm-hmm. Well,
in the toilets, it was social distancing 1 meter. Outside, it was social distance 2 meters. What?
It's because they spent all the money on all the signage for 2 meters and then had to change some of it to 1 meter, but they didn't have enough money to change all the signs.
I think the general rule of thumb is if you've got a mask and you're taking precautions, 1 meter, if not 2 meters, right? I would assume that's what makes logical sense. So probably not then in that case.
Yeah,
if you've got a mask on, you can be within a meter of each other. But
I don't know, man. Like, I'm still not overly comfortable. Like, I met my friend who's being put up for redundancy in a pub in town the other day. He originally wanted to meet in Wetherspoons, and I was like, absolutely fucking not.
Have you got Neverspoons on your phone?
What?
Have you got the app? You've not?
I haven't heard of this. What's
the app Neverspoons. Basically, if you're in a town you don't know, or even if you're in a town you do know,
right,
and you want to go for a pint or some food, and the only thing you can see is a Wetherspoons, you open up Neverspoons, and it shows you all the pubs close by that aren't Wetherspoons.
That's brilliant. I like
Have
that.
you not heard of it? Oh, okay.
No.
I thought you'd heard of it. Neverspoons.
No.
Yeah, I've got it on
Excellent.
my phone.
I'm downloading it now.
Yeah, because I know you're pretty. You're less than impressed with this guy.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
You know, he's a multi-millionaire, and yet, like, he put all his staff on furlough. Not that, you know, being a multi-millionaire means that you should keep your staff on, but he basically, you know, he didn't even put. He didn't. I'm not sure he took full advantage of the furlough scheme. He was telling his staff to go and find work elsewhere, didn't he?
Yeah.
Saying they should go and work at Tesco or something. And it's like, well, that's not what you do.
Yeah.
And then since it's all come back open, he's taken advantage of some
grant,
benefit or grant or something, which means that he can get, which is designed for smaller pubs, as far as I'm aware, but there was no designation on it being specifically for smaller pubs.
There was no guidance on how they could use the money, was there?
I think that's it, yeah. So what he's done is, because he owns X number of pubs, like the most pubs in the country, he got loads of this grant and is now using it to buy tons and tons of stock, because he knows people will go to Wetherspoons, because, like, you're getting... I think one of I had Daniel's son round here the other day. And he was saying that he went into one a little while back, and they were selling like pints of Punk IPA, the Brewdog.
Yeah.
It's like export strength. It's like 5.5%, and they were selling that for like £1.83 a pint.
Yeah, so I think the idea of the grant was to help pay staff or pay for refurbishments or stuff like that. But the way he was using it, Mr. Weatherspoon, whatever his name is, was to discount his drinks, which other pubs could not afford to do.
Yeah,
but he could. So he used it to discount his drinks, which allowed which people went cheap booze. So they went into a Weatherspoons.
exactly.
Which really, really affects the smaller pubs.
Yeah, because they can't use the grant in that way. And it's and it's all to do with him having the monopoly, and it's just not fair. And so anyway, we went to another pub anyway, and there was it was nice. The garden had been laid out in a way that was kind of socially distanced, but also not really at the same time.
Yeah, the one we went to was the same. And it's group no more than 8 people in a group. Yeah. And it was results day Thursday, wasn't it? So a group of about 15 school kids or like school leavers came in, like a massive group. And we sort of looked at me like, that's not 8.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But they weren't allowing. You had to go into the bar to order your drinks like usual, but you weren't allowed to stay inside. You had to be sat outside. But then there was this one drunk idiot who almost refused.
Yeah.
And he was like striking up conversation with anyone who came in and basically causing a bit of a nuisance while I was at the bar getting one round him. He was, the barmaid was like, you're supposed to be outside with that drink. And he was like, I'm nearly, I'm going to buy another one. And she was like, well, you still got like 2/3 of a pint left in that glass. So what are you doing? And he was like, I'm going to have a whiskey chaser. And it's like, you just want to... It's like these fucking idiots who just will do the opposite of the rule because they're hard,
Yeah.
Fucking can't be arsed with it.
Yeah, I mean, So I've been to 2 pubs now since it's finished. Since they've been open. Since it's finished? It hasn't been finished. The one I went to the other week was... Yeah, it's the same thing. You're not allowed to sit inside unless you're having a meal. Then you can sit inside, but that's separate from the bar. The restaurant's separate from the bar, but you can't even go to the bar inside. Like they've got a window at the side. They set up a bar there, so
a collection point.
You order your drinks from outside. You don't go inside. So the only time you go inside is to the toilet or if you're eating, which is really good. But then everyone's gathered outside. It's quite a big place, and they've got a pizza garden as well. And the one that I went to the other day in town, that like they've got their bar and they've got specific points where you can order your drinks from, and they've got the circles on the floors 2 meters. Yeah, so it's set up and it's a one-way system. Like when you go outside, it's like a one-way system, I think, to order your drinks in and out. So they're doing what they can, but obviously once you get to your table, there's not really a lot.
It's kind of a free-for-all then, isn't it? I don't know. Just still not really missing it, if I'm honest.
No, I'm enjoying, but I'm not a regular pub goer, to be fair, but I'm enjoying the times I am going out and seeing people. In fact, the last like 2 or 3 times I've been out, it's just to see the same people. So,
your bubble.
Yeah, pretty much. It's people I work with.
Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, I've been invited a couple of weeks ago. We were invited to like 3 barbecues, and at each one, I was like, right, who's going to be there? And people were like, right, it's you, this person, that person, the other person. When you get there, there's like 10 people that were not on that list. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why have you lied? Why did you tell me? Only because you wanted me to come here, presumably. And I went to 2 of them, and both cases were like that. And so the third one, I was like, nah, sorry. I'm not coming. Like, don't tell me the list of people that are going to be there and then invite a bunch more people without telling me. Like, people I don't know as well. Like, I trust a certain number of people to be careful.
If you know the people, you know if they're likely to be taking precautions or not. If you don't know the people, you haven't got a clue what they're like.
No.
When we've had barbecues, our garden's not massive, so we've like limited it to, I think, 3 or 4 people at the most. Like include as like in addition to us. and try and social distance if we can. Obviously, occasionally you're gonna sort of be close to each other. You know,
it's tough to do, man. Like it's, you know, especially if it's family coming around and stuff. You know, you
got to just trust that you have to trust that those people are taking precautions. It's one of those things. I mean, when we've had people around, it's someone Liz works with. Well, she works with her, so you know, if she's going to be coming back home from working with her anyway. Another thing, it's like my mum and her boyfriend. My mum works in hospital, so she's going to be taking precautions. She's at risk, so she's definitely going to be taking precautions. And my dad and my sister, who, you know, my sister definitely taking precautions. My dad works, so he has to take precautions. It's one of those things. You know, there's definitely people I know that I wouldn't be comfortable with coming around because certainly, I don't think they take precautions.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Spill the beans, Ant. Come on.
Yeah. So.
No, absolutely, and it's like.
Hey? Name and shame, no. Ain't doing that.
Just in case.
Oh no, they won't listen to this. Fucking hell.
But someone who knows them might listen to it. You never know.
Yeah. We've learned from those mistakes. That's happened in the past.
Yes. I don't know. You know, in this whole thing, because obviously Joe's going back at the end of August, and I don't think she's particularly looking forward to it. Just because, like, since March she's been doing teaching from home, and now all of a sudden it's like, no, everyone must go back to school. And you get it. I mean, the whole thing with the exam results has been a complete fiasco as well, you know, where they were saying, right, it's going to be based on the teachers' predicted grades, and then it was like, no, we're going to go on the mock exam results, which is bullshit because no one takes mock exams seriously,
especially if they feel like that's only a practice.
I always used to take it as like, right, okay, that was what was in the mock, I know roughly what I should be revising for now. That was always the way I treated mocks. Like, it's not,
and I think that's the purpose of them, isn't it? It's to get you,
it's to be like, right, whatever you've been doing up to this point, is this what was that the right?
It's exactly like I said with my my interview process, where I took that test, and then he was like, right, you only failed by 1 point, and I was like, okay, right, let me look at these specific areas where I know I struggled, and work on that. And I think that's the purpose of like a practice exam or a mock exam, is to get you used to the format and the way the questions are asked, but also to give you an idea of where you're lacking, where you might be lacking some sort of confidence or whatever, like, so it tells you what to revise. It's not necessarily to predict your grade. Yeah,
and no one would ever, you know, even though all this stuff was kind of bubbling along in the background back in February or whenever the mocks took place, no one would ever have imagined.
No, not at all.
You know, and so unless they were being told, like, right, you got to take this seriously because there might not be exams in 4 months. Then they might have taken it slightly more seriously. But who knew that was going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, then, when we went on lockdown, I thought, oh, that's going to be a weird 6 weeks.
No, precisely. Like when we were on that, we were doing a podcast, weren't we? Were we doing a podcast, or were we doing?
When the lockdown was announced,
we were just having a Zoom meeting,
possibly just having a chat.
Yeah, I think it was. And then it was like, oh no, it was a bit of supporter content, wasn't it? It was Patreon content, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, oh, I'm getting a phone. I'm going to have a meeting with work in like 5 minutes. I've got to go. Maybe I'm going to be furloughed. And then it was like, you're being furloughed. And I was like, I didn't really expect it.
Yeah.
And then it was like, right, yeah, well, we'll probably see you in June.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear from them again until August, basically.
Christ, almost. That's mad. Yeah. But hey, still managed to pump out content somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
should have been able to put out much more than I have done.
Oh,
but
I've put out a hell of a lot more than me.
I've got a life as well. I've got a girlfriend who doesn't like me spending all my time in a laptop and in the shed and editing and stuff. Which is fine. And there's been really nice weather to be sat out in. And
it's been offensive the last couple of weeks.
Yes, what I will say is
the weather has been fucking offensive is the only word I can like. Oh, did you breathe? Here, have a bucket of sweat. Like,
oh mate, I have been slick for like 2 weeks. Like, I almost gave up taking showers because I was like, there's fucking no point. I get in the shower, I clean myself off, I get out and I instantly sweat again. Like, what is the fucking point?
Yeah.
Of course there is a point.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's rotten.
Even now I'm sat here and it's quite overcast and I'm still like a little bit.
It's muggy. I mean, you're lucky that I've got a t-shirt on. I've only worn t-shirts for the last couple of days before that, I don't think I wore a t-shirt for like basically 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, if I'm indoors, I've generally been sat without a top on because it's horrible. I even went I went climbing. I've been going climbing like 2 or 3 times a week. And
back at it hard.
Yeah. It's awful in there because you're in a big tin room. They've got fans, but no
aircon.
So what? There was even a point where I was climbing once. I was like, "Oh my god, I need to take my t-shirt off." I couldn't.
Yeah, because you're in a public place.
No. You're allowed to take your t-shirt off. I physically couldn't get the t-shirt off.
Absolutely plastered.
Can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had moments like that as well.
I left it too long to get the t-shirt off, but it's been fine. I've just been taking plenty of breaks. I'm pretty much back at the point I was before lockdown now, like with regards to my ability, which is great. I'm loving it. They had like a mini comp the other night, which I didn't take part in, but I watched it. It was cool. Like people just climbing these ridiculously hard climbs. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying doing that, getting out and doing that for a couple of hours. Doing it in the evenings because I've been trying to do it during the midday, and it's like, nah, it's horrible.
No, why would you do that?
So I've been climbing till like 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair play. I mean, we've Jo especially has moved her runs to like 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
When the sun's about to go down, because it's like we went out a few times during the day. And it was just miserable.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine when you're in the shade, but as soon as you hit a patch of sunshine, you just melt,
Yeah. I mean, we went to Saturn Moat Park the other day. We met my sister and my sister-in-law, my brother's wife. And like we were sat, and I was just sat on the bench and I was just like not moving. And I was just like, it was literally just running down my face. Yeah. Like I said, can we go and sit in some shade, please?
Absolutely unreal, isn't it? I've had the same thing just sat out in the garden, on a lounger or something. And all of a sudden I realised that like my belly button is overflowing. Because it's just streaming down me. It's fucking disgusting. But like my whole thing is like, I really enjoy hot weather. I really like the warm weather. Like, But like, I prefer cold because then you can put clothes on and like, you can regulate yourself that way.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I was like, you can always put on more layers. You can only take off a certain amount.
Yeah.
When it comes to heat, I like sitting in the shade when it's hot.
Yeah,
I like the hot weather, but I don't like to be hot.
Yeah, I am a bit of a sun worshipper. If I can get away with it and like the sun's out for a day, I will spend a whole day out in the sun. As it was 2 weeks, I got very bored quite quickly of sitting in the sun and was like, I can't do it anymore. Like, it's 35 degrees. This is not right in this country. I'm also Irish. We're not built for that. There's only so much that you can take, and I am getting slightly bored of it now because we don't get like nice heat either. We get humid heat.
I like Spain. I like Greece. I like places like that when it's hot.
Yeah, Mediterranean.
Because it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what it is. It's not that I don't like the heat. I don't like the sweat.
the mugginess and
And I don't mind sweating. I don't mind being sweaty if I've done something to work up to that sweat. If I feel like I've earned that sweat, it's fine. If I'm just breathing, you know, I'm not like a 30 stone guy. Like I shouldn't sweat just breathing.
No,
not that all 30 stone guys sweat when they That's why I picked 30, because that's just like ridiculous.
Because it's a ridiculous, morbid obesity type thing. It's not been comfortable, that's for sure.
Not in the slightest.
But you know, it has meant that like nothing has been done. You know, it's been quite nice just not doing much. But you know, it's nice, but it too much of a good thing, perhaps.
Yeah, that's it. We don't mind hot weather for a day or two, any more than that, and it's time to start complaining. Be British about it,
because we have to. Yeah.
So you see all those memes about British people when it's hot. It's hot. It's so fucking hot. Why is it like it? But then when it's cold, it's like, oh, I wish it was hot.
Yeah, no, exactly. We always want the opposite of what it is. But, you know, I mean, some of the storms have been quite spectacular, but they've been happening during the day around here. I don't know about you, because it seems to be really localised as well. Like, my brother only lives down in Gillingham on the marina.
Yeah.
He was getting totally different weather than we were here, and then my parents were getting totally different weather down the bottom of the hill. You know,
Actually, I was just about to say, there's a guy who lives in Sittingbourne, and he had like a torrential downpour like yesterday, like he posted on Facebook. But I seem to remember he's actually moved to Wales, so that's a bit further. It makes sense now.
We had a lot of rain here yesterday.
Yesterday it rained, but it wasn't. And it was kind of heavy, but it wasn't like the massive droplets like Thursday, which was, it just came out of nowhere, and it got dark, so you could see the lightning. It was quite impressive. The thunder was pretty loud, but it didn't last long.
No. I mean, there was one day, I think I posted it on Facebook, where it started to rain while we were out sunbathing. There were wispy clouds in the sky, like not rain clouds. Yeah. Then it really started raining, but it was still very sunny. And so we went inside, and then the rain stopped, and then there was thunder, even though it was still sunny. Like there weren't thunderclouds in the sky. It was weird.
There was down here. Yeah, it was pretty overcast, and it was quite impressive. And I do like storms. I love it. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I like watching them if I can. Yeah, but it was so sunny that you couldn't see anything going on. It was bizarre, utterly bizarre.
One of the girls that we work with, that we were out with on a Thursday, like she said, she absolutely loves storms, but whenever there's a storm, she goes around the house and turns off all the sockets.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
And she knows it's silly.
Yeah.
It
used to be a thing that we were told when we were younger as well. Like I remember my mum being like, "Right, we've got to switch the TV off and all that while the storm's going on," and you just kind of believe what people say at that age, I guess.
Yeah, and my mum still does that, and she puts all the cutlery away.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, she's one of that, but she also, it's like, she always used to be like, turn off the TV. We need to sit in complete silence because I want to hear this thing that terrifies me. Like it doesn't make sense.
No, I know. My grandma used to open all the doors and windows.
Open them?
Yeah, so that ball lightning could get out. Yeah,
this ball lightning thing.
Is it
like
real?
It's something I've always heard of. I don't know. We need to pass it on to Ant and Tom for the future Ship Flying Transit episode. Ball lightning.
She used to turn mirrors round as well, so that it wouldn't reflect back into the room. If it came into the room, it would just pass through the wall or something, rather than reflect back.
We used to hear about this ball lightning thing. It's like, because ball lightning, it'll float through and it'll come through your window, and like, what?
Has anyone listening ever experienced ball lightning? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, because the way I always imagine it when I think about it is just like a slow-moving orb. What is it? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I've never witnessed it. I don't think I know anyone who ever has.
So it can get back out.
Yeah, it's bizarre, even though this thing can go through your windows and walls.
Has she ever had a moth in the house? Or a fly? It doesn't matter how wide you open windows and doors. They're never leaving.
Direction. Talking about flies, that's been the other thing as well. Ugh. Ugh.
It's one of those things where it's been so hot, you have to have all the windows and doors open.
Yeah.
And then there's flies everywhere in your house.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And they come and land on your fucking leg.
Oh, they just don't give a shit.
Yeah. They're bold as brass, these flies.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you going to do about it? I'm on your leg.
Yeah.
You swat them away. I'm coming back. I'm sitting there again.
Yeah, I've got all these eyes, so you can try and get me, but I'm going to see it coming.
Here's a can of Raid, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme online, the can of Raid? And someone goes, excuse me, is this good for flies? And the answer is no, it kills them. Fucking stupid. I love it, though.
We've also seen, we've got a mouse.
You've got a mouse?
It's outside. It's not inside.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen it a couple of times this summer. And it hides around the plant pots at the bottom of the bird feeder, and it picks up all the stuff that the birds drop.
Yeah.
Don't know where it's coming from. Don't know where it goes. Don't know where it lives.
Oh, you don't?
No idea where it's living. We're thinking about getting a trap. I don't really want to kill it. Joe doesn't really want to shell out for a humane trap.
You can make one.
I guess a Coke bottle or something like that.
Yeah, in a coat hanger. I made one once.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, because we had one in the house.
Right.
And I made one. I don't know if it worked because the cat got to it first.
Oh, well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are a couple of cats around this way, and there are tons of foxes. I don't know how the fucking thing is surviving. But
no. There's something I was thinking of, like early hours this morning driving home. There was a fox walked across the road. I'm like, where do these foxes go during the day?
Yeah, urban foxes, because it's not like there's a whole load of green space around here. There's little tiny parks.
Yeah, but even those parks, people will go around. So you'd imagine you'd see a fox den or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, you see them sometimes. Like I've seen them just sunbathing in our neighbour's back garden.
The foxes?
Yeah.
They're fucking brazen, aren't they?
During the day. They just
worse than the fucking flies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a few years ago, I'm sure I've said it before, like we were having a barbecue out on the back. There were the three of us, and the dog, when the dog was still alive.
Yeah.
And this fox, it was like 3:00 in the afternoon, middle of the summer, that all of us were out there having a chat, playing music and stuff. And this fox just jumped over the fence, walked right through the middle of the garden. The dog didn't bat a fucking eyelid. And just kind of looked at us, wandered across the grass, and then back over the other fence. And you're like, what are you doing?
Just what?
Yeah,
Carry on going.
Yeah, very much so.
Fucking hell.
Do you fancy throwing a bit of meat my way?
No, well, I'll go and ask neighbour.
Okay, I'll go next door. Yeah, fine, whatever. But yeah, they come around here during the day. They come up into the garden when they know you're in the house. Like it's.
The problem is we're talking like, how dare they fucking encroach on our land?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm well aware of the irony.
Yeah. Oh well.
The double standard.
Yeah,
but no, this is.
But fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
They are lesser.
Vermin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like wildlife is. I've been having flies kind of coming around here. You've probably been seeing them.
I don't think I can see the flies, but I can see you sort of watching it as they go past.
Because they come in front of my eyes, in front of the microphone, even, and I'm like.
Because I read a weird thing. You're saying about the flies landing on you and stuff like that. I read a weird thing the other day about butterflies. You know how like they land on you, and you're like, oh, look at the lovely butterfly on my finger. What they're actually doing is just sucking the salt out of your body. Yeah,
I know.
It's grim, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. But the thing I did use the rain for the other day is to I went out there yesterday, literally after it stopped raining, and dug a new flower bed because we've been meaning to do it for ages, but the earth has been baked. So I'm not doing it in the sun. Fuck that. So I went out there just after the rain yesterday, and again soaked myself to the skin.
Yeah.
You've got a flower bed. I've got a flower bed now, but the shirt was ruined that I was wearing. I was like, why am I wearing this shirt? Why am I doing this? It was, it's just been massively uncomfortable. I could do without, Could do with just not doing things.
and when we had that massive sort of thunderstorm on Thursday, I thought, oh yes, it's going to be nice and bearable.
Clear the air. Yeah, no. Directly it finished, it was back to being muggy and warm and horrible and sweaty again.
Because of all the moisture in the air, because it just fucking rained.
And then it got hot again directly afterwards, so it all evaporated back into the air. And that was the thing when I was digging this trench the other day, like literally an inch down, it's bone dry again.
Oh wow!
Like, it hasn't it's just run off.
It hasn't seeped into the.
Because I think where it's so dry, I think we had it a couple of years ago, where it was so dry. It's why all these flash floods are happening.
Yeah, because
the ground's been baked, so it's not
really
absorbing.
Deep down.
Yeah, it's not absorbing any of the water that's falling on it. So it's like that train crash up in Scotland happened because of it.
Yeah.
And there's been landslides and all sorts of things going on various places because just the amount of rain that's hitting this baked ground is just running off and causing havoc. Global warming.
What's that? Climate change.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I used the old term for it.
Coldest winter ever. What about global warming?
Yeah,
same fucking thing.
Fuck off.
Terminology.
But yeah, I think that's basically everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks. Apparently, Donald Trump's younger brother has just died.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, at 71. Don't know what from. Just don't know. So that's good fun. I mean, part of me hopes that it's COVID so that he can actually, take it a bit more seriously.
Maybe he only had COVID because he was tested for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
More tests means more cases.
More tests, yeah. And this is it, isn't it? This is what the media is now peddling about our cases starting to go back up again, isn't it?
Even one of our favourite ladies, Cunty Hopkins.
Yeah, I was going to say, is she?
Her video.
I haven't seen it.
She posted a video. I only saw it because one of my Facebook acquaintances shared it.
Right.
Saying the lady's I don't like her, but she's got a point. No, she hasn't.
No, she doesn't. It's bullshit.
And it's like, don't listen to the doctors, listen to this lady.
Yeah, and isn't it funny that, as soon as they started opening these things again, that the numbers started going back up, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're doing more tests now, so...
Yeah,
so, of course
obviously, yeah.
And they're relating all deaths where COVID was involved as like COVID deaths. If the person had cancer and died of the cancer, but they had COVID, tested positive for COVID, they put that down as a COVID death. It's like, but it's comorbidities. They sort of, would the person have died that soon of this illness if they didn't have COVID? You don't know.
Yeah. Well,
so it's a COVID-related death.
Yeah. One of my friends has a girlfriend that works in a care home.
Yes.
And they were literally being told when people died in the care home of COVID, did they have any other underlying symptoms? And if they did, could you put that down as cause of death?
Rather than COVID?
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb. It's...
Yeah. And yeah, they've jigged the way that that England has been recording the deaths, haven't they? Whereas before they were counting COVID deaths as anyone who died after they'd had COVID, regardless of how long after they'd had COVID.
Yeah.
They've now revised it so that anyone who dies within 2 weeks of having COVID is now only eligible for the numbers, which is why the numbers dropped from 47,000 to 42.
Right.
Because they've been able to downward shift it. And I don't know whether that's correct or not.
But when you hear that people can have, they say people can have symptoms for up to like X number of months afterwards.
Yeah.
But only count it if it's within 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, it doesn't seem right to me.
But we don't know.
No, exactly, because no one seems to know anything about this bloody drug.
But I feel like COVID, if COVID was a thing that killed you or not, like it's still a contributing factor because there's no guarantee that you would have died of X illness if you didn't have COVID.
Yeah.
Or where, so, but we don't know. So, But we can't be the best at something. We can't be the best at anything, can we? As a country, even people dying of COVID.
Yeah, but then of course now the focus is also shifted to migrants coming in on boats across the water, and all those all lives matter people have suddenly gone very well. They haven't gone quiet. They've gone the other way. Like, why should they be here?
Yeah,
it's like
all lives matter except them.
Don't all lives matter? I thought you said all lives matter. Yeah, but not immigrants though, because they're not, people.
But I love the fact that our foreign secretary, is it the foreign secretary, or I can't remember who she is, but saying, "Oh yeah, but we're trying to come up with like a plan with France where they all just get sent back to France." It's not a plan.
No, that's A, not a plan. B, not something that France have ever accepted, because you've been trying to do that for years. Now you want to leave the EU, but you want the EU to be responsible for these migrants, these refugees. It's such a massive clusterfuck. It's unbelievable.
Do you remember at the start of the Brexit conversation when I said, but the border at the minute is in France. If we leave the EU, they're going to move it and be like, have them.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Strange, right?
And you see with this thing, like they're bringing out that map again, where it's like, here's Syria, here's the UK. It's like they're fleeing war, and it's like no war, no war, no war, no war.
Yeah. I've seen that being shared.
But it's also like, and people are like, oh, it's because they're coming here for the benefits, because it's better benefits. It's like, France has a better benefits package.
What benefits?
Like, there's lots of countries that have better benefits than us. That's not why they're coming here.
And equally, we know for a fact that other countries have been inundated with migrants as well, because, Germany had to put up walls to stop them coming in. Oh, no, Germany was accepting like 1 million a month or something.
Germany. And
it was Hungary, wasn't it? Hungary was the one that put up fences to stop people coming in.
Yeah, and I think like Germany and France are taking more refugees than us anyway. And people are sort of questioning why they come here, and it's just like the fact that, well, you remember when we had an empire and we invaded loads of countries, and every country had to learn English, so it's like one of the most widely spoken languages in the world.
Yeah,
they know English. That's why they're coming here.
Everyone else in Europe speaks English as well, because we're so fucking ignorant. But why wouldn't you come to England?
Yeah,
if you know the language.
They're certainly not coming here because of the stable political environment, are they?
No, they're fucking desperate.
Yeah,
and they're going wherever they can. If they've been moved on from other countries, then they go to the next country along until they finally get to the country on the outside of Europe.
Yes,
us.
We are literally at the edge. There's not really much past us.
Where are you going to choose? Are you going to choose England, or are you going to choose Russia?
Yeah, if they're travelling west to flee their country, they eventually have to stop at the Atlantic Ocean
before they start trying to cross the Atlantic in their
it's just
ain't gonna happen, is it? I had a thing then. Can't remember what it is now though. But yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. But all the problems, I think you can trace back to Dominic Cummings taking his eye test in his Range Rover.
That's it.
And that guy's got away with it, and he's still working, and he's still there pulling the strings, and it's unbelievable. And I think people need to remember this when things are starting to ramp up again, and pressure needs to be put on.
It's fucked, man.
Yeah.
It's anywhere but here, but we can't go anywhere.
No. We're not allowed to go.
Have to stay here. Turkey's been put on the quarantine list next, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was France, wasn't it? And then loads of people were trying to come back on the day because it makes a difference that you come back on that day. Just because you have to quarantine for 2 weeks, like you could still have it. Like I don't know, man. People are fucking. Why are you going anywhere? Why are you going abroad right now? What is the fucking point? Do you really need to go to Magaluf at the moment? Like, do you know what I mean? Like.
No, I literally go to work and climbing at the minute.
Yeah, I get it. Spaces. Like if you've been working this whole time, it's very well me.
Yeah.
I've been able to sit in my back garden for 4 months.
Of course, but even that, for a lot of people would make them want to go somewhere.
Yeah,
do something.
I've been starting to get really fucking itchy the last few weeks because
I mean,
just
you
like,
and Joe are you travellers. You like to go places. So
yeah, we're not
sense.
gypsies. We're we enjoy kind of taking road trips places, but we've cancelled all the kind of trips that we were going to make.
Just be responsible people,
because we're just like, I don't want to go places and then run the risk of being in a restaurant somewhere or a pub somewhere that we don't know, and we've handed our details in, and then 2 weeks later we get a phone call from that pub being like, oh, by the way, you were here on this day and so from down the road had coronavirus, so you're going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks and go nowhere.
It. When I went into the pub, there was a sign up on the wall, so I checked myself in. I'm here, so because it's the responsible thing to do. I mean, annoyingly, like we decided, I think like the theory is we will go out for lunch because it's not going to be as busy in the pub at lunchtime. Not thinking it was results day, not actually realizing it was results day, but
because there haven't been exams.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Why would there be results?
Results for what? Yeah, I mean, I based on that results, I know you were saying like they were taking like mock, or they predicted grades or something like that,
but then they put it through a system which downgraded or upgraded
everyone. Yeah, but I thought
this whole conspiracy theory about like schools in poorer areas being downgraded
more,
whereas richer areas are being upgraded more.
But I always thought that predicted grade based on mocks or whatever was a bit weird anyway, because I always thought that once someone got a predicted grade, like early on, then they would go, oh shit, and then work harder. So like the person with predicted, I think most people with predicted grades get better anyway, don't they? Or is it usually?
I think so. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But...
It's just a bit. To me, it's like somebody might see that and work harder, and then because that was their predicted grade, that's what they ended up with, which seems a bit unfair. But
and I mean, Joe's been quite angry about it because like these modulators or this algorithm that they've got in place to up or downgrade these to moderate these marks. The people who set that don't know the kids that are being taught. Like it should come down to the teachers that are teaching these kids. I'm sure you'll get one or two teachers kind of being a bit, I'm going to put my grades up because I can this time around. There's no one to check them. But at the end of the day, those
attitude to learning, level of engagement since lockdown and stuff like that, really, they are important because it shows the child's commitment to their work and stuff.
But no one knows these kids better than the teachers that teach them. So they will know how much effort that child will put in.
So whether they would have got a higher grade or not. Yeah, I mean, like Chloe's school report was based on, how well she's engaged. And it was actually a really positive report, despite all those fucking emails we got saying that she's not working hard enough. But her report said she was great.
Exactly. So, and again, the report might... it's just...
Anyway.
It's all good fun, but there's that whole thing of them the government now saying oh well, if we upgrade these pupils results, then they might be getting jobs that they're not qualified or have the
who are they to fucking decide
exactly
that?
I mean, like these
employers decide it. Like I left school with no qualifications. I'm still working and I'm good at my jobs that I do. Which
is why you've been able to get on.
Yeah. Schooling doesn't... Yes, it does have an effect, but...
So, did Stephen Graham just get shot?
Did Stephen Graham just get shot? No. I don't know. What series is that, Tom?
That's the latest one.
All right.
If it's not that one, then
no.
I hope she's seen it.
No. What's going on? Like, so have you seen?
I've seen them all. Yeah, I've watched them all. Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like it's pretty engrossing, though.
Yeah.
There's lots of sirens. What's up? It's a big heist.
Okay. Sure. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything.
No.
But yeah. Okay, cool.
No, I don't.
On that note. On the note that I've spoiled the last season.
Wasn't paying much attention. I don't know what.
It's all right. It's okay.
Anyway.
I've got something at 2, so let's do some Patreon content.
Yeah.
Have a little bit more of a chat over there. And So for this week, I've been Tom.
I've been Ant.
Bye. So, but first some DIY talk.
Yeah. Cool.
Interesting. Oh, it's recording.
Yeah, sorry.
The
thing is, it's only a little thing up in the corner, and I press it and expect everyone to see it, but I'm expecting to see it because I pressed the button.
Oh, man. Right, okay.
Excuse me.
Wait, this is all going on the end.